base of our national defense. The companies standing before you have conducted a turning blue ceremony because blue is the color of the infantry. This ceremony culminated with each graduating soldier receiving the coveted symbols of an infantryman, the crossed rifle insignia with blue background discs, and the blue infantry cord. Turning blue signifies the rite of passage of these soldiers to carry on the finest traditions of the infantry. The infantry crossed rifles, blue discs, and blue cord mark these soldiers as qualified to be the finest soldiers in the world, United States Army infantrymen. God loves the infantry, that's why he made the sky blue. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of 2nd Battalion, 54th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Lance D. Oskey.
Family and friends of Alpha Company and Bravo 254, welcome here to Fort Benning this cool, breezy morning. And first of all, I'd like to recognize the soldiers and the drill sergeants standing before you. Join me in a round of applause again. This morning, it's my pleasure to introduce the guest speaker, the Brigade Command Sergeant Major of the 198th Infantry Brigade that has 5 other battalions like mine, Command Sergeant Major Weik. As you've looked at your program, Command Sergeant Weik's biography is indeed distinct and distinguished. He's not only served every difficult job in the line, in the operational forces and infantrymen, he's also done every difficult job in the support side of the Army, to include recruiter duty, as well as literally walking in the same steps as our drill sergeant before you as a former drill sergeant. I'd like to highlight, though, and I'm sure he would count it amongst his highlights, fighting with the 173rd Airborne, of which we have a monument to my front, really during some of the toughest, most difficult battles in the war in Afghanistan that is ongoing today. Sergeant Major Weik, as a first sergeant and a sergeant major, was on the front lines of that battle. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Command Sergeant Major Weik.
How about a hand for the band? I'm telling you, if you didn't get a chill just now as this new infantryman walked out of that World War II street over there, you might want to check your pulse and see if you're dead. Because that was just amazing, wasn't it? Colonel Parker, distinguished guests, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you drove a long way. And the main reason that I'm the guest speaker today is because I got a nephew sitting out there in formation who wants me to hurry up and quit talking so he can get to his family. But Julius Caesar was a great leader and he gave great speeches. And at the end of one of those speeches, they killed him. So I'm going to try to keep this on point. What you see standing out there is the best part of our society. These new infantrymen and their drill sergeants are America's Spartans. They are now a small segment of our population that guard our national wall of defense. And as arrogant as this may sound, it's what makes them better than the average young man. Not better in a material or arrogant sort of way, but better as it relates to doing something versus hanging out somewhere, talking and criticizing. Anyone can talk about what should be done at any given moment, but most young men just won't do anything about it. You see it every day on our television screens, all sorts of so-called experts. They're always ready to give advice, but never ready to pick up a ruck, rifle up, and close with the enemy when the wolves are at the door. For my money, there are 2 kinds of men that walk the earth: men of action and all others. What stands before you today are men of action. I'm not talking about random, thoughtless action. I'm talking about a deliberate, measured, and when required, intensely focused action. To be sitting in the safety of our home, now 10 years into a war, subject to the 24/7 media coverage of that same war and its brutality, and then to go and sign up for the Army Infantry says an awful lot about a man's character. To stick it out when so many in our society look daily for a reason to quit says a great deal about your young man's heart, the support he gets from his family, and his ability to see the larger picture. Anyone can start, but not everyone has the heart to finish. Not one infantryman you see standing before you really wants to go into harm's way and risk it all, but their moral clarity won't allow them to sit back and let someone else provide the freedom that we here today cherish and so many others take for granted. The reasons for enlisting in the Army and the infantry vary and are often deeply personal, but it's what makes them truly the best and brightest we have in this country. And I'm not saying that to be nice. I'm saying that to you because I really believe it. The best and the brightest are not necessarily on campus or in a corporate boardroom right now. The best and the brightest are out there on this parade field. And brothers, don't you ever think for 1 minute that the kids running around on some university campus, protesting, breaking things, and whining about this or that have anything on you. You're going to be privileged to have that one advantage they all covet. You will know, you will have facts about the going on in Europe, Iraq, Afghanistan, Djibouti, the Philippines, the Balkans, and many other places. Your head will not be filled with the empty theory of those who in actuality know very little because they lack the intestinal fortitude to commit to anything that requires a risk. I'm speaking of that snide, arrogant sort who spend all day blaming America for every wrong in the world before going home to sleep at night under the blanket of freedom provided by better men like you. We've been hard on you here at Fort Benning, hard because what lies ahead of you will be extremely challenging, and for many of you, the defining chapter in your lives. Life as an infantryman is not easy, and the absolute goal of those charged with training you, your drill sergeants, is that make sure that training is that you understand that. Your drill sergeants, like many of the veterans sitting behind me in these stands and scattered throughout the crowd, know what waits for you in battle, and our sacred duty is to ensure that you are not surprised. All of your drill sergeants have been to the battlefield, and that fact cannot be overstated. They have put into action what they have taught you. They have moved under fire. They have seen the enemy up close, and they know that this profession that we all have chosen is deadly serious. You, as your drill sergeant already has, will hump the steep mountains of Afghanistan with a 100-pound rucksack on your back, gasping for breath in the thin mountain air in pursuit of the enemy. Quadricep muscles screaming, back aching, sleep and rest not coming anytime soon. Your drill sergeant has fought in Iraq, and he walked the mean streets of places like Fallujah or Al-Ramadi, and in Afghanistan like places like Paktika, Helmand, and the Pesh, conducting raids with a physically demanding and mentally draining house-to-house, cave-to-cave search for the enemy. You'll have to react to IEDs and fight the enemy 10 feet away, close combat in the truest form under 60 pounds of equipment and armor, in temperatures that make this normal Georgia summer day seem mild. And it's why you did all those push-ups, and will do thousands more. It's why you ran all those miles, and will run many more. It's why you fired hundreds of rounds while you ran, hit the ground, and kept going. It's why you marched to march with no end in sight. It's why you can take that rifle apart and reassemble it in the dark. It's why your parents can see the change in you simply by the way you stand. And most importantly, it's why you've begun to appreciate the brotherhood and pure camaraderie that is gleaned from nights spent in the muggy Georgia heat next to your battle buddy, in the pouring rain, finding humor in your predicament, sharing a cold MRE, and then realizing that you are forming bonds in moments such as these that will truly last a lifetime. The techno-geek wannabes in the corporate world couldn't begin to fathom the vast responsibilities that you have accepted. You will be scrutinized like no warriors before you, expecting to eradicate our enemies, pacify the critics, and abide by the rules of law of land warfare, as only we and our true allies seem committed to doing. You'll hold more responsibility and do more in the next few years than most people will do in an entire lifetime. High expectations to be sure, but you will succeed because you are an American infantryman, sometimes alone but never afraid. Now, I'm almost done. 6 final things. You're now an infantryman. When you see me, come up and shake my hand. Don't quiver and shake like you typically do when I come around. Secondly, draw your energy from your family. They're the ones here today who have traveled a long way to see you, and in some cases did so with great financial and physical duress. Write and call them frequently. Your family will often be your greatest support in the days ahead, Don't ever forget that. Third, this is the life you chose. And I'll say that again. This is the life that you chose. It's not risk-free, and it's not always easy. But in 29 plus years of service, it has been a life well worth living. There is no more noble profession than the one you are now a member. It's a portion of your life that is spent in the cold, hot snow or rain, facing danger during war or peace, while making the best friends you will ever have. Brothers, those men to your left and right will have your back no matter what life brings. And don't let the television talking head, Hollywood idiots, or any other faction of the Blame America First crowd get you down. I'm speaking here about the Occupy Whatever crowd. They are simple background chatter, and they will always exist on the periphery of any endeavor that requires selfless service or loyalty. They're not worthy of your concern, and truth be told, in the pit of their little cowardly hearts, they wish they could be just like you. The intestinal fortitude that's part of your fabric is something they will covet but will never know. Fifth, never ever apologize for being an American, and don't feel that you ever have to. We're not perfect, but I can think of no better place on earth. We didn't become the great country because by accident. We earned it. And while we were at it, we kept at it and continue to keep a large portion of the world free. Just ask the veterans that are sitting in the crowd today. American blood sacrifice is the indisputable part of the world equation. We keep a large portion of the world free, and no matter what disaster strikes, tsunamis, floods, earthquakes, we're the ones who show up first to help. An American aircraft carrier, American soldiers, American Marines, Air Force transport planes, landing supplies, and even local church groups. More people in this world are trying to come to our shores than any other country. I really don't think Djibouti has an immigration problem. But when someone truly needs to get their ass kicked, we can do that better than anyone on the planet. Sorry, Dad. We remain the beacon of hope for many, and God willing, it will always be so, and don't ever apologize for it. And finally, shake out your knees. But most importantly, to you infantrymen, stand tall, suck it up when things get hard, and remember that they can, and usually will get harder. Stay aggressive, keep your weapons clean and your mind sharp. Parents, wives, and girlfriends, never stop worrying, so email and call them often. Never panic, because once you do, you've lost. Always waterproof your gear, watch out for one another. Remember that when things look their worst, you'll need each other the most. Hydrate, do PT every day, and keep your brain clear. Remember that it's always better to be the one to deliver the first blow, to be proud to be called a grunt. Remember you are the guardian of freedom and the American way of life. And when you stack up 10,000 miles away from here, outside the door of that evil person who wishes to do America harm, you will feel your squad around you, breathing and moving in one breath. And as the explosion tears off that evildoer's doors and America's infantry burst into his life, you just tell him, don't bother getting up, we'll let ourselves in. May God bless you and protect you and each and every one of you. And when you fight, fight not because you hate what's in front of you, because you love what's behind you. Private Weik, out there, honor your name. It was clean the day your dad gave it to you, and make sure it's clean the day you give it to your son. So here's to us and those like us. Damn if you left. Brave and bold, follow me. Thank you very much.